Alrighty. Are we live right now? We might be live. I'm actually doing a little test to see if this works the way I expect it to, because it did not. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, apparently I'm live but not under the stream I created. So I guess now I'm just gonna like start by re-inputting my settings, which means that this could take an extra minute. Hey, what up, David Glenn? Well, at least it looks like the chat works. Yeah, just making some minor adjustments here, so we can delete that so-called upcoming stream. I really muddied up things for myself when I set up the stream element spot. You know, like, I just want a chat bot, you know? And I know it's got a bunch of other fancy features, but I don't need like half of them, you know? And, well, here we are, you know, we're using this annoying thing. But anyway, I do want to give some love to my model kits today, but before we do that, I do have to give some love to my 3D printer, and since we have a Linux guy in the chat, maybe you can go and fix my 3D printer now. No, I'm kidding. I'll give you SSH credentials on my network if you want to do that. But no, jokes aside, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but then I got like to one point in the setup. I guess I should start from explaining from scratch. So, okay. So my Raspberry Pi is hooked up to my 3D printer, and I can use something called Octoprint to send things to the printer. And that works out actually pretty well. But then I found out about this firmware for the printer called Clipper. And Clipper is a two-part thing. You got like the firmware for the printer, but Clipper is different. It actually runs on the Raspberry Pi because it's using a different methodology. Whereas most people, or the mainstream methodology is make it run on this like really crappy board. Like, so a lot of 3D printers have like a very basic like circuit board. You know, they got like a motherboard that doesn't have a lot of RAM. It's basically a microcontroller, and it does a pretty good job. But by running Clipper and having the Raspberry Pi using its more advanced CPU, it can relay commands to the printer. It can manipulate the printer directly. What's up, Zombie Box Reviews? Good to see you. And so the easiest way to get Clipper firmware set up was to install something called Mainsail OS. And so if I type in the IP address of my 3D printer on my local network, it should prompt me to log into Mainsail. And whoa, let's zoom in on that. Oh, I gotta change my monitors again. Oh, I love when that happens. Minor thing. These are like minor things I could test out before stream starts, and I never do. So usually I have to like spend an extra minute reselecting my default monitors. See? So that's Mainsail right over there. And in the meantime, I gotta fix my other displays. But it's essentially everything works. I can control the temperature. The only thing not working is the webcam, and that's vital because I want to, you know, logically see what the printer is doing when it's printing. And that's one of the reasons I was using Octoprint, and it worked out really well in that regard. Initially, the camera didn't always work. I had to like fidget with it, and then one day they came out with an update that made it just work, and I was like, this is fantastic, you know, because originally, if you get a Raspberry Pi and you're doing 3D printing on it in the past, the directions would tell you, oh, use the Raspberry Pi camera. It's like, no, don't, because it's like this little camera, like on a naked circuit board, and it's got like a little ribbon or flex cable, and it's a joke. It's like a 1 megapixel camera. It's like a piece of junk. And so I was like, okay, well, this is not a priority then. I'd rather have a webcam hooked up to another computer. Yeah, exactly. ESP32 cam. I'm not having it. I'm not dealing with that. So a USB webcam that's more robust. I mean, it's not a terrible option actually, the other one, but also the other things with the USB webcam. I mean, I'm not crazy about it, but other people seem to be okay with it. But the other thing about it was, there we go, I made my adjustments. The other thing was, I I had to like print a manual focusing mechanism, and once I did that, you know, like it was a little easier because now you can see the nozzle and you can see it traversing the Z-axis one layer at a time. So that's fantastic. And you know, I followed some guys' video directions, and after a couple of hours, it wasn't like catastrophically difficult, but after a couple of hours and hitting this impasse with setting up the camera, I was just like, screw it, I'm taking a break. But theoretically, if we go into settings over here, hey, what's up there, Orville Nation? Merry Christmas back at you. I hope you're doing well today, man. It's good to see you. We got the preeminent Orville channel right here in the chat, in case anybody's ever, you know, I mean, I'm sure you're all subscribed. And you should be. So as I remember, oh yeah, okay, settings, webcams, and then over here you would think, okay, well, let's go here, add a camera, edit a camera. I think this is correct. So this is just a URL that's actually not secured. So like if I gave my public IP out, I'm like 80% sure it would actually just like work because it did it. Okay, that's not an issue there, but you know, I was just curious to see what the URL is. It's not an issue at the moment because I'm not relying on that, and it's certainly not working at the moment. But you know, you got like some options here, and then yada yada yada. Then you got a config file called Crow's Nest, and this is where you get into the weeds of it. And you know, I was like reading different directions. They're like, oh, use Ustreamer, and they're like, no, actually use this other mode. And then they're like, one guy's like, oh, I just had to change it from video device 1 from 0 to 1. So I did try that out because, I mean, you know, I would love for that to be, you know, that simple, right? You know, just like hit it, restart it, come back to it, and boom. But nah, unfortunately, couldn't have any such luck there. So no big deal there. Where's my chat window? Let me get that chat window up. I mean, I can see it on my OBS screen now. So yeah, installing Stream Elements. I got the bot. Do I have the bot? I better have the bot. Let's see if the bot works. If this bot doesn't work, yeah. See, like this is the whole reason for this exercise is so that I can use the Stream Elements bot to automate things for me. So I gotta mess with this. I really should just sit down on a day off and be willing to like go for broke messing with this too. But you know, like, yeah, that's a different topic. I should really worry about that. In fact, let's double check. Let's check my dashboard real quick. I mean, this is boring. So I do have an unboxing to do right now, right after I click here and check some things here. I'm not going to really go into the weeds. But yeah, I got the chat bot. It worked before. I don't know why it's not working now. I have a couple of theories as to why it wouldn't work. And I think, yeah, I got a couple of hunches, but we're not going to explore that right now because I probably just gummied it up somehow while getting signed on. Like, that's the only why it's a chatbot. I don't even want the other thing. I don't care about the PayPal thing. I'm not doing enough here to earn tips, you know? When I do more cool stuff, then yeah, or if I'm doing something that costs a lot of money to do, then I'll be like, hey, please give me money if you can, you know, but I'm not there yet. Yeah, we'll explore that later. All right, so we don't have the bot, which is like literally the only, I mean, I'm not going to wimp out and back out of using it yet. Okay, let's get to something interesting now. Yesterday, I went to Best Buy to buy physical media for what might be the very last time in my life. Because, I mean, you know, Best Buy is not going to sell physical media in the future at some point, right? So I got a couple of movies. One of them is already on my desk. I got Lord of the Rings. And this is interesting because it says 4K UHD, ultra high definition. But it is actually, when you open it up, it actually does say UHD on, I mean, it's HDR. It does literally say HDR on the discs. And that's really actually quite important because if we go here, HDR means high dynamic range. And there's two versions. You got theatrical and you got the extended cut in here. And this jewel case was thrown off of a truck apparently. Like it had a crack over here. I had to repair the jewel case. you know, I mean, I'd probably just exchange it, but, you know, I'm like, at this point, I just want the media. I'm going to put it on my shelf once I'm done backing it up. And so what I discovered was, and I should have known this already, but, like, you know, if I don't own something, I don't really care. So I don't own a 4K TV. I don't own a 4K Blu-ray player because I don't own a 4K TV. So I couldn't have cared less. And so when I put this in my Blu-ray drive, I was like, oh, it's not reading it. And then I realized, oh, you need a special Blu-ray drive to read these 4K Ultra HD discs, or, you know, in this case, apparently HDR as well. And we're talking like, it's like a 50 or 100 gigabyte Blu-ray disc, something insane like that. And so what's the answer for that? Well, basically, there's like one Blu-ray drive that's really popular. And I was going to buy one from Japan, but the guy had a different model number. So that was no good. So the $55 one would have been a great buy if the model number was slightly different. Now, there's a few eBay sellers out of China that I believe had the model number I'm looking for. Actually not, because I'm looking for the MBK, and I'm seeing a lot of BKs or DBKs. And here we are. Here's an MBK right here. But it's from China. And honestly, I mean, we buy everything from China, so who cares? But when it's like a product that's out of stock everywhere, I got to ask myself, is that the right label? In fact, is that even a picture of the actual item? So before I even buy this, I'm going to investigate it, you know, like, apparently that is the same picture. So does the 207 MBK have a different model number on its label? Because that says BDR S07XLB. BDR S706. I'm sorry, S07X. XS07XB. XLB. And see, that's a different model number now. Like, that's not the same model I was looking at. So it's like, is this the same thing or not? Because the Chinese eBay shop, or, you know, located in China, you know, in particular, they're saying we got this model number in the description. And then I'm looking at the pictures and I'm seeing this model number. And maybe I'll take a chance with it, because you know what? It's got some of the right numbers in there. And really, what's really important is, if you want to access a 4K Blu-ray on a modern computer or something, you need to have a Blu-ray drive that supports Blu-ray XL, BDXL, Blu-ray disc XL. And that's basically the short answer, you know? You need something that's BDXL compatible. And so usually you'll get like a list of like compatible media formats, or you'll get like a big logo like this, or some combination therein. And the drive, that the big desktop internal drive, was like $200 was the MSRP, but now it's more of a rarity. So it's like, well, wherever you can get it most likely used, that's what you're relying on. Now, good news is, for whether I spend, you know, 100 or 200, I will be able to burn these high capacity discs. But I've done the math on Blu-ray discs before, and even at 100 gig per disc, and this is like a 5-pack for like $60, it's just cheaper to buy like pairs of 4 terabyte hard drives. Like, if you need to do like archival backup storage, sure, maybe like having some core data of vital importance on an optical disc will make it EMP proof, sure. But what you really need, I mean, it's that cost thing. At least, I mean, when you're storing large amounts of data. So it's like, at that point, I'd rather build a Faraday cage and just put some cold storage hard drives into a Faraday cage, you know? Because at these prices, that's like 500 gigabytes for $60. For $60, you could easily get like 4 terabytes, or you could get like easily like way more capacity. And, you know, if you do it like cost per gigabyte, let's say I buy 2 4 terabyte drives for like $40 each, making up numbers here, I don't even know what they go for, but it would actually still be more cost effective to buy 2 of them when you divide up the cost, when you take it down to cost per gigabyte. So yeah, optical media is like anybody who thinks hard drives are going to be disappearing soon, if optical media is still being sold like this, I find it, you know, unlikely that hard drives would go away. But also it's a practical point of view. SSDs just can't supplant hard drives for what hard drives are actually for. Now, most people don't use hard drives or SSDs the way that a person who's archiving a lot of data would use a hard drive. So there's that. But real quick, I need to make coffee. So I got this thing here. It's a Nespresso compatible thingamajig, and I got some Pete's coffee here. Ristretto, whatever the hell Ristretto is. I already put the water in the top. So this thing's pretty cool. You have like a compartment in the bottom where you like load your coffee cup. I don't really want to put this on my desk. And you put the Nespresso pod in here. And you just kind of rotate it, give it like a good press. It basically is doing all the fancy stuff. It's like already packing it for you, right? And then this has two modes. Now, it's got a battery built into it that is theoretically charging right now, although I wouldn't be surprised if that battery is shot. And it's got a mode where you can supply it with hot water, and it'll immediately start pumping it. Or it takes longer, but you can have it heat up the water for you, and then it'll start pumping the hot water after it's heated it up. Now, on battery power, you can only do that 3 times. But if you have an external power source, you can do that more. So it beeped, and in about, I don't know, a couple minutes time, maybe longer, it'll start making a rumbling sound. So when we hear that rumbling sound, we'll know that espresso is served. So I'm going in ass backwards order here. I should have just done a video recording about the Blu-ray. In fact, I did record a video about this. So the second movie I bought was Tron, the classic, original classic. And, you know, what's cool is it comes with both a DVD and a Blu-ray disc. So, you know, you got some flexibility there. Now, as I understand it, the bonus materials, I love it. I hate this light. Actually, I mostly hate it. I'm just going to have, like, I'm going to change my setup for the way I do that. But anyway, you know, it's still, so basically there's going to be more bonus material on Blu-ray, which makes sense, you know. But it's nice that you have both options here, you know. So that's what we got here. And last but not least, we also have Neon Genesis Evangelion 4.11, or as they call it, 3.0 plus 1.11 thrice upon a time. And, you know, you got Asuka wearing her winter clothing. You got Mari with a boob sticking up like at a 90-degree angle, apparently. And that's like, the girl has got like her neck back and the boob is like pointing straight up. I mean, that's a boob right there. And then you got the AA Wonder, which I don't know why they call it that, but it looks like a fish skeleton with a ship built around it. Like, see? And it's got a bunch of crap around it because it's not Evangelion unless you got a bunch of crap floating around. My most popular video is the Evangelion shit post, by the way. Not even kidding. And then you got a neon colored Ava Unit 1. In fact, I'm doing it on this camera because the chroma key will filter out that green. You got the Lance of Longinus. And this has a 5.1 surround soundtrack. The only issue is it says DTS MA Master Audio HD 5.1. Okay, that's good. But one of the movies in my haul, I think it's the Tron movie, has one of these movies had a true HD audio track, and that's problematic. True HD audio tracks are super duper annoying for me to deal with sometimes. And I have a bad feeling it's the friggin' Lord of the Rings disc that's using Dolby Atmos True HD. So last time I worked with a True HD audio track, I learned some very weird things about it. And David Glenn says, remember when the powers that be said we would store all of our data and files in the cloud? And there are plenty of people who will happily do that. You know, and I get it. Like, there's a convenience. There's like a, you know, a fault tolerance. That's why I built my own Linux server, right? You know, like, that's why I have like pairs of hard drives in there. Like every time I upgrade, I'm putting a pair of hard drives. I'm not just putting one hard drive in and, you know, putting my eggs in one basket. And a lot of people are storing their stuff in the cloud, and they're going to find out the hard way. I mean, like, that last election fiasco we had, when, you know, what was it? Not Rumble, the other one. the stupid ass name. What the hell is it called? Parlay. Parlor. Oh, and I gotta build this later on. This is a Klingon Bird of Prey model that my friend printed for me. It's a cloaked ship that will come up in a future build stream. That'll be fun. But you know, it's like that was a valuable lesson. Like, you know, storing your hosting, having your hosting needs handled on Amazon Prime. It's all fun and games until some crybaby makes a stink about it, or a group of crybabies make a stink about it, and we know how that went. And you know, you go on social media, and I'm just saying, hey, look, man, look, friends, I just think this is a double standard. I'm not trying to be like, blah, 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 blah. This is how I feel. And then people be like, oh, but they threatened to kill this guy. And it's like, well, I mean, that's what they always do. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I don't think people should be threatening people, but it's like, that is what you all did. Like, when like, you know, the other guy was in office the whole time. So it's like, what? It's not like you can dish it out, but you're not allowed to like see it go in the other direction. And it was just kind of funny because people who would hate on Mike Pence suddenly were like defending the guy. It was really, really amusing, you know, like suddenly they care that people are threatening, you know, or whatever. And it was weird because they weren't really threatening. Like, there was people outside of the building, and they had like these like stanchions that looked like the thing that you hang people on, but it was clearly not built in a manner that would be sturdy enough to do the job. And yet people are like, you know, saying, see, look, they're gonna hang this motherfucker. It's like, yeah, they're gonna hang a guy on balsa wood because that would totally work. And I don't know, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Did you hear about Tucker Carlson saying that he is warming up to the idea that a flat Earth? So I would like to think that this is I did not, but I would like to think that this is a, how do I phrase it? A thought experiment, I would hope, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Oh my God, so remember last time I streamed with Ryan? Yeah, my chat box was like way up there. There we go, I just moved it down. That was a good time. I'm really glad Ryan was able to show up and stream that night. It was a good time. We got deep, you know, and I just appreciate having a high profile person on. So anyway, yeah, getting back on topic here. So I did not know that Tucker Carlson said he was warming up to the idea of the flat Earth, but is there like a thought experiment behind it? Should I look up a video? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people on the other side of the political thing that will say, like, let's see, Tucker Carlson warming up to. I'm sure there's people who took it real seriously. I don't even know where to begin. There's a video, I only saw 15 seconds of it. Well, I'm not prepared to play other people's videos on my channel today because I always get in trouble doing that lately. And then I have to like go back into the stream and edit the stream. Although it's only 15 seconds. Well, we do have a Rolling Stone article, and I don't want to give them the business either. Is my pop-up blocker on? Okay, good. Because I don't think they deserve ad revenue. Tucker Carlson's descent into pushing conspiracy theories hit a scientific new low as the former Fox News host suggested in a new interview that he's open to the theory that Earth may actually be flat. Speaking to Blaze's Alex Stein via Midas Touch. What is Midas Touch? Touch what? Carlson was asked. Carlson was asked. Okay, I'm joking. I love when people say that. Carlson was asked about the flat Earth theory. Well, I'm open to anything, he replied. How could I not be open to anything at this point? I mean, there's been so much deception that you can't trust your preconceptions. So, no, it's not a preconception, but I mean, it's okay. He's not into astronomy. Okay, he didn't see the things. I get it. You know, it's like being honest, like being a person on the ground level, like who never touched a telescope or something, never aligned one. Yeah, I guess it would be a valid thing to question the shape of the Earth, you know, even though it's like at that point, it's like if you're willing to question that, then it's like, well, you got to question the thing you're questioning. Did I say that right? You know what I mean. I think we'll click on the thing here. Which means I have to mute my boy, Pacific 414. I've been muting him all day. No, okay, I'm not even live right now. I'm like 5 seconds behind. Yeah, Pacific 414 is playing Transformers, robots in... Oh, God. I'm not clicking on TikTok. You know, like, I've avoided TikTok, like, really thoroughly. And it's I keep saying, I want to make a presence on TikTok. Then I stop myself because I don't want my shit stolen. Like, I know what's going to happen. People are going to go to my YouTube channel, copy my videos, and there's going to be like 10 bot accounts playing my crap. Okay, so they made a cute picture. Now I'm looking at the fucking Rolling Stone article, part of my French. I just want the video. But whatever, I think I could imagine him saying it. It might be a thought experiment. But, you know, either way. Well, if the Earth is flat, then the moon is hollow. And, I mean, if the Earth is flat, I don't know what the moon is anymore, right? Like, if the Earth was actually flat, I would have to, like, say that... Is this thing even heating up my water? Yeah, it's heating up my water. I just wanted to make sure. Yes, and that's another thing. So that's interesting. Carlos Fish, he seemed like a nice guy. A few times I watched him or talked to him on here. Carlos Fish had some of his videos appropriated by a larger YouTuber. So, you know... And I wonder what you can do about it. Like, are they being appropriated like in their entirety and just being played shamelessly? Is it like more like, here's a shout out to this stranger I don't know whose video I'm going to use in a fair use situation, right? You know, like how, like, because if it's fair use, it's cool until it's not cool, you know. And a lot of people would misunderstand fair use, okay? If we're being realistic here, a lot of people just don't read the terms. So, something I didn't show earlier, but I should show now, is my gun tank. So, I built this during a build stream with Punk Waddle and Snacks and Friends. And these parts are yellow here and here, but I did these in gold. I kept this one in its original yellow, and I did this yellow part. These vents used to be yellow, but I painted them in gold, and I put a black line in the middle. So, I'm very proud of how that came out. And then the back of the tank... It still needs some love. I need to put some black lines over here. But we do have it at least, you know, we do at least have, you know, vents here. So theoretically, if I put the black between the lines, so I don't know if that helps it. I think it probably helps it a little bit. I mean, it needs a little more love, but I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some black between the gray vents that I painted gray already in metallic paint. And, you know, we'll get like a little alternate. It'll alternate, you know, that's all. So that's basically my plan. So I'm not painting the whole thing. So I didn't paint the blue. I didn't paint the red. I painted the gold here using now the gold one seems to like be one of the so okay basically I guess we should talk about Gundam paint markers as soon as I find my missing pen cap. Gundam paint markers come in many varieties, but to give you some examples here, we got the Xeon Zaku colors. I have like one gray one, and that comes with a set. So we got like, well, let's see, we'll put the set back together right now. We got metallic, we got blue. So the blue one is something that you might use on large details. But the problem with the blue Gundam marker is you very quickly run into like some issues with it. Like, here's another one, yellow or gold. Now the yellow one, like you would use it on some small parts. So just in general, like if you had like you know, like certain things that you could paint yellow would be like the cross on the beam shield, on the regular shield. What up, Chad? Chad Middleton, nice to meet you. And thanks for the compliment, I appreciate that. So you can see right here, like we got two Gundam shields basically. Actually, one is technically a GM shield. And I'm using the stock yellow plastic color here. So these are uncolorized, like they're using the stock color. But this one, you can see I painted the yellow cross or star with actual gold, metallic gold paint. And the metallic gold paint seems to sort of self-level itself. But there's also another thing that's important. This shield is painted in red Gundam marker. And this one, I redid it like 5 times. Like I literally like applied the paint marker, stripped it, and did it again. Applied the paint marker, stripped it, and did it again. You can even see it looks like a skid mark down here. And I just gave up at that point. So I'm not going to mess with it because there was no way I was going to like get it any better. But a lot of times you'll get dust particles or bubbles, or you'll get clumping in the middle of the large area. So Gundam paint markers generally don't do well on large surfaces. But if I wanted to use the red paint marker on the foot and maybe in small areas, that would be much safer than doing a flat area like a shield. So this one, instead, I used a special sanding tool. I used the balancer and the balancer. And basically they got like a sanding tool and a polishing tool, and it gives you like a very, you know, like polished look. But bottom line is that I try to avoid using the paint markers on anything large because they don't do well on large things. And just real quick, yes, I will touch on G Gundam because I used to hate G Gundam. I don't hate G Gundam anymore, but I used to hate on it so much. You know, I'll tell you about that because I think I respect it more now. So this one I was supposed to put a black decal here, but I felt like, nah, why put a black decal here? That metallic red looks so cool, I think, in the place of the black sticker. So that's what we did. And then, like, when I showed you the gun tank earlier, like, we didn't use a brush, we just used the pencil stroke, you know, of the gold metallic. But small details, that's doable. Down here, small detail, great. But this area here, it's actually not that smooth. But part of it is because I'm riding on an uneven surface and whatnot. I still got to do some edge cleanup here. But this is relatively safe. Had I done like the metallic marker on something larger, there would be a higher chance of issues. Although, you know, like here's something here. I painted these are partially painted. So this one I did an experiment. I wanted to see like, does the glossy versus matte finish look any different on this surface? And I think I spilled some beverage on here, so I got to clean this one up. Or there's another engine pod. I have a second engine pod, and one of these engine pods has like a stain of liquid on it, so I got to clean that up. And actually, this one's painted in white. This one's already painted, so I'll actually have to probably clean it up or paint. Oh, good. Wait, the brown stain is gone. All right, you know what? We're going to leave that alone. So this one here, we did like large areas of white paint. Even though the plastic is already white, we wanted to kind of give it like, I guess, a certain like look. And then I put the panel lines in. I did the engineering spaces. This was a little tricky. You can see how I got a little blotchy back here, but we're going to just kind of leave it alone. And then, even though the model doesn't tell you to put metallic over here, it just made sense to put metallic paint right here where the laser reflector sail is get tucked away. Now, I'll tell you about my thoughts on G Gundam. I used to hate on G Gundam a lot because I'm one of those UC, Universal Century Timeline people who, like, you know, takes things way too seriously. Okay, I'll be honest. Okay, I do. But this is one meme from G Gundam that I think like really illustrates, you know, what I need to do to get over myself. Well, not over myself, but like I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Here it is. Yeah, like you literally have to type in the word meme into the sentence and then like it comes up and it just says, okay, it says, this is the best idea ever. And for some reason, Reddit is trying to make me open up the picture like this. And I'm like, no, Reddit. I want it like this. Okay, let me make sure no prawns open up. Okay, good. There's no prawn on my screen. No, I'm joking. And I love this picture because it's like you got like something that looks like an RX-78-2 straddling a rocket booster. You got a bunch of other like various Gundams. And obviously they're sending them to space. And it's like the caption says, this is the best plan ever. And you got like this guy with a self-satisfied look on his face. you got the scientist, he's like doing this with his glasses, and they're all just like, you know, like we're so bright, you know. And this picture also like I saw this picture in an article once, and the article was just saying like, chill out, don't take it too damn seriously, you know, like just learn to not take it too seriously and enjoy the cartoon, enjoy the show, enjoy the anime. And I mean, I'm looking at this picture and I'm seeing like there's like a Gundam bag here with like a chain wrapped around his rocket boost, and he's like standing on it like he's climbing on a side of a building, and it's like, this is just like totally against like physics. I mean, I guess hypothetically you could gimbal the rocket engines to, you know, vector the thrust so that it would keep flying straight. But this is madness right here, and I love it. So yeah, I mean, I'll give G Gundam a chance one of these days. But right now I'm still, you know, in the mood to maybe rewatch some of the UC lineup or something before I go that direction. Maybe I'll watch 0083. Maybe I'll skim through the original series a little bit. I did watch some, you know, like original episodes recently, just like in a vacuum, just because, you know, who doesn't love seeing Hayato fail at life? No, I'm kidding. Hayato's a good guy. In fact, he didn't fail at life. He became a successful businessman. And I gotta put these events on my engine pods. So, yeah, I gotta give the engine pods some love over here soon. These engine pods are really straightforward. It's like, and I forgive the lighting. I know the lighting is just obscenely bright. So these engine pods have these like little vents that go here. Okay, so it looks like these are not like symmetrical, or the paint got inside the actual bit, and I have to like, I don't know if that's like, you know, it might be the wrong engine pod. I might have to like pick, but the general idea is that you can see, and yeah, there we go. There's more gold. So these, I don't even think you're supposed to paint these yellow. I just did them in gold because it made sense, you know. So those are some of the liberties. Now the hardest thing was painting the bottom here. And I realized at some point I just kind of gave up. I said, it's the bottom. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But like, I made a mistake. I was using a clear coat marker to protect this. But then you can't, once you put a clear coat on, you can't put more paint on it. But there's also another issue. You can see there's like circular shape here, right? I want to get rid of that. So I might have to sand it down and repaint it again, because we are not tolerating that circle there. And what's interesting is I discovered this girl on YouTube in Japan. And when she builds the model kit, she snips a little bit of the circle off in order to give it more like flexure, I guess. So I think I know why she does it. I think she does it because if you have to put a bunch of stress on the part, you can start creating these like stress marks. So I think that's what the girl was doing. I'm not adventurous enough to try it, but what I've been doing is pressing it on halfway so it doesn't fall off, but it doesn't go all the way on, so that I can continue to revisit it, because that stress mark is probably the result of me trying to pry this off. And so had I not pried it off with, you know, the way I did it, or had I snipped it up. Where's my espresso? How long does it take for the water to heat up in here? It looks like it's going to be ready soon. I think it just takes a long time to heat up water. Either that or it's not getting enough juice. This is taking considerably longer to heat up my coffee here. I should have just bought some energy drinks yesterday. Well, went downstairs and get some coffee. But yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate, happy holidays. You know, obviously I'm not trying to be like, it has to be Christmas, but if you do celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. And if not, happy holidays in general. So G Gundam was your first series. Gundam Wing was sort of my first Gundam, but it was weird. Like, one night I was watching Galaxy Express 39, which is my first ever anime series, and I have that on Blu-ray right in front of me here too. And after that was on, the Sci-Fi Channel was doing a special. It was like Anime Week or some shit, and they're like talking about Macross 7, and I'm watching a scene where a guy is in a mech battle, sitting in a mech, playing electric guitar, singing in the middle of the battle, and it's just like, what is going on here? And why are there two of me on the screen right here? I know why. It's because of StreamYard. There we go. So, anyway, that was pretty wild. Fast forward years later, I get into like Robotech, which, of course, you know, when I got into SDF Macross, I was blown away. I was like, okay, I've been missing this all my life. And then once I saw SDF Macross, I saw the movie Do You Remember Love? And then I got up to, you know, watching Macross 7. And I was like, okay, now I get it. They're in the same chronology. And this was very interesting. And around the time I discovered Macross 7 many, many years ago, like 2001, maybe 1999, that's when I discovered Gundam Wing. And then, of course, that was mainstreamed on Cartoon Network. And I you know, like at this point, like, one of the things I think before I see G Gundam, I'm going to give Gundam Wing a chance. Because I just think it's like probably like the one to get into. Like I'm really like kind of dreading it. I don't really want to watch Gundam Wing. But you know how it is. Like, it's popular enough and people swear by it. And I mean, there's some elements of it that seem good. You know, another one I really liked, and that was cut too short too soon, was After War Gundam X. That one was like just really unique. I mean, it had like designs in common with Gundam Wing, but beyond that, like, it had more of a universal century tone to it, you know? It had like, it just did it. It was more universal century like. And in particular, we could say, what was it, like, the fact that, I mean, the show starts off with like the biggest colony drop operation that you could ever imagine, right? Like, I mean, it wasn't just one or two colonies. No, like dozens of space colonies are being dropped on the Earth. Okay, that's like madness right there. And that's like the beginning of the show. And it looked like the Federation, or equivalent to the Federation, built these very powerful Gundams that had the ability to receive energy from the moon, because they're collecting microwave energy, and then using the transmitted microwave energy, the Gundam X model, the GX990, I think it was called, or 9900, could shoot, you know, this very powerful weapon. So I don't know if you know what I'm doing right now, but as you can see, this fuzzy pattern thing drives me insane. I just want to see what it would look like if I put some tape on it. And as you can see, it doesn't like flicker. But you do raise an interesting point, Chad. Yeah, Macross Plus did the AI idols before VTubers existed. That's very interesting. That's a good point. Except the idol was turned evil like Skynet. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, that still could happen, but I do have to say, like, I usually roll my eyes when people talk about AI in today's age, because people want to believe, it's like the UFO thing. They want to believe it's something way cooler, and it's like, yes, neural networks sounds like it works like the brain, but it's not really like a brain. Like, you can't just download, like, you know, the Python notebook, IPython notebook code and or whatever, run it through the browser and like think that you have a brain, because it's not a brain. It's not a human brain. It's not self-aware. It's not, you know, even if you make it self-aware, it's not self-aware. Like, it can do what it's programmed to do. It can do things that you can do a lot of remarkable things with the large language models of ChatGPT, but it's got limits. And people would say, oh, but ChatGPT lets people make malware. And it's like, no, ChatGPT lets people make malware based on existing malware. You know, it's like, it's not that clever. Like, you could do that anyway. Like, it just means it makes it easier for an idiot to do it. I don't know what to say. Sometimes I don't know what to say. AI can't even recommend things based on my interests. That's an interesting point. You know, I mean, I don't think they want you to. I don't think they always. I mean, the companies, the industry. I don't think they want to recommend things based on our interests. Sometimes I think they want you know, they want you to watch what they want you to watch. They want to recommend what they want to recommend. You know, and that's that. At least that's my, you know, generalized attitude on how they operate. Yeah, so I don't know. I should work on this on my free time tonight, but I got a little OCD, so I put this matte tape on top just to see if it would, like, you know, not reflect. What's up, James? How you doing? You're not very late. I'm very late. I mean, like, I didn't even schedule this. I'm just, you don't have to be sorry for anything, but Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy Holidays. But you're always welcome here, early or late. You're never late. You're like a wizard. You arrive right when you plan on arriving. And never let anybody tell you otherwise unless they're paying you your wage. Then you probably should not give them lip because, you know, you got to get your paycheck. And unfortunately, that means sucking up to those people who are our bosses. And, I mean, am I doing anything interesting right now? Apparently I'm putting freaking tape on my fucking light. Okay, pardon my French here. I feel like I should do this after dinner, but I kind of want to give this some love right now because the core fighter was giving me some trouble transforming yesterday. And I got that fixed. I actually was able to clean up some of the rough edges and get this thing to do what it's supposed to do. So at this point, we can continue building the rest of the Gundam that goes with this. And this will be larger than the Victory type that I have over here. I mean, this is the, you know, same thing, but smaller. You know, I mean, there's a Gundam head hidden right under this vertical stabilizer, if you don't believe me. See, the scale is 1/44th scale versus whatever the other one is, you know? I think like 1/100. And this one is still missing the eyes. I was supposed to put the decals on, I think, first, but it's not a priority right now. At some point, I'll crack open the head and put the eyes on or something. But this core fighter has been sitting here on my desk, and it does what it's supposed to do, but I'm not going to transform it again right now, you know, just because I got the process down pat. It's got some, like, the mechanism. I was almost tempted to put lubrication inside the mechanism. I'm not a good sucker-upper. And you got Hayato's gun cannon right here, and essentially you got your two, you know, main cannons. Each of these is stronger. Now, actually, this thing can't rotate because of the core fighter. It doesn't rotate. I think it has to move around on the tracks. But the cannons, they could, you know, put up at an angle, and then there's a automatic reloading mechanism back here, so it carries ammunition. And then these are anti-aircraft. Like, you can use these as a standoff weapon if you got an enemy approaching you. But these here are usually, like, kept at the side, like, almost like at a 40-degree angle like this. And these are, like, literally, like, just anti-aircraft. And I made a big mistake when I was putting the head together, so I got to do some repairs on the head. But basically, it's good. You know, you got the pilot is in there. You can see him. You can see Hayato, the gunner, in this case. We got the gold here. You know, now I just went to full screen. I think I got it maybe, no, I think the black paint is good here. If anything, now one issue is, like, this is why you use a blue paint marker. See that swirl pattern? The plastic was sort of made poorly in this case. So you could paint it, but once again, doing large areas in blue is really not practical. I did do the bottom a couple of times just to see if different colors would look good on the bottom. And metallic blue is, like, really cool. So metallic blue is tempting, but the only time I suck up to people is, oh yeah, I gotta make some adjustments to the chat here. The only time I suck up to people is when I want to annoy them so badly that they want to avoid me. So as an experiment, we're going to just paint a small region right here. And I probably put way too thick of a coat on here just now, but you get the idea. So you can sort of see what the color looks like there. And we're going to do regular blue real quick. So luckily I do have a blue marker right here. And we could do the same thing like maybe up here. We don't want to mix the colors by accident. Okay, so now we can let those both dry and see how they behave. But originally I put metallic all over the bottom, and the only reason I cleaned it off was because I was cleaning the alcohol, using alcohol on the vents, and I had some runoff, so it ruined the bottom. So I had to basically strip the paint off the entire bottom. But now we can sort of get a comparison. And then I have a clear coat that should theoretically protect it, because rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, will, you know, remove the paint. And if it nothing else, you could at least protect the paint job from, you know, maybe grease or something from your fingers. So that's better than nothing, I guess. Now, what color am I missing here? I don't think I'm missing a color. I think there's an extra marker that goes in here for like panel lining. So that's not important right now. You know, Mr. Porch or Porcher, very, very distant relative. Oh, that's pretty cool. But there are many ancestors or ancestors with the same name. I think my father's mother's grandmother or mother. Huh. They make nice cards. So you can see the paint marker is sort of drying gradually here. And I guess that must have been like a wet spot or something. So, you know, we see what happens. But I don't think this one can look cool sometimes, but I just don't know. Now, the only panel lining I got to do is I got to clean up these tracks and add panel lining. I was thinking about buying the rust marker, because they do make a marker that gives you like rust and weathering. So that's kind of tempting to do. It's not the most important thing, because I have a brown marker that I can already use in order to give rust. But I did like 3 different types of panel lining on this model just to see which ones work better. And sometimes like you'll have a black dye with a red base in it, and so it won't actually look black. And so if you look at the neck here, it's like, is that black? Is it a little bit off black? Is that a brown base we're looking at there? So it got me thinking, like, do I redo it with a different marker? Maybe. But I'm not going to drive myself insane right now doing that. I'm happy it's looking as decent as it's looking right now. And so the only thing I would do is I would grab my toilet paper, which I happen to have a roll of toilet paper next to my bed, and some IPA, isopropyl alcohol. And I could use the fancy Tamiya Q-tips, but I don't want to like, you know, ruin them, you know? I don't want to waste them, I should say. So instead of wasting the fancy Q-tips, we're going to just try to gently be careful here. Poor Shah. I'll read that in a second. I need to get a text-to-speech engine. So I think this Monday we're not going to have a guest on. I got to double check if what day. I think, and then the following week I'll have Raquel on. I think Raquel SSG 2311. And, you know, other than that, I don't know, you know, I'm curious of what you guys think about the guest appearances we've been having. If, you know, there's something I should do differently. I mean, I don't think I should do anything differently, because everything I do is perfect already, right? So, you know, why would I do things differently if I'm already doing things perfectly? Nah, jokes aside, I'm just being comedically cocky. As, you know, Han Solo says, don't get cocky, kid. Or as Han Solo said on the Family Guy special, don't get penisy on me, kid. See that? We just cleaned up that little edge there. So there comes a point where you got to decide, like, well, okay, this area I just got to redo the corner basically. So I'll redo the corner in a little while, but for now we'll leave it alone. Let's think of does anybody have any holiday jokes? Oh, actually, maybe I should. Porsche, not Porsche. Porsche, not Porsche. For fuck's sake, do people call Lamborghini Lamborghini? 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 Linguini? Yeah, I do call it linguini. Doesn't everybody call it a Lamborghini linguini? But jokes aside, I mean, Porsche, I mean, like, you can see where, like, there's similarity, or, you know, like if you're enunciating it phonetically, and I'm not saying we should dumb things down for people who can't read, but it is an interesting idea, a concept. They did this in a Stargate, what is it? Stargate, what the fuck is this shit called? Stargate Universe. They had a planet called, the hell was the name of the planet? It had, like, a cute name, Novus, which really just means new in Latin. So it's like, you know, it's like you just named your planet New. But in the planet Novus, they I guess okay, so I guess we should talk about what is Stargate Universe about. Well, basically, they had a special base, a special frontline base, where they had a Stargate that could dial an unusually distant address, because Stargates use addresses, and to dial a 9 chevron address, which brings you into a completely different zip code as far as Stargates are concerned, needs an enormous amount of energy. So they're able to dial to the planet, but they get stuck there. In fact, they don't go to a planet, they end up on a ship that's like 10, 20 galaxies away. Like, in fact, it's like pretty cool to see when they show you the map. They're like, we are here. And then they zoom out, and it's like showing you a path that like covers 20 million years, where the ship was like 20 million years ago, the ship started off here. And over the course of 20 million years, it has navigated through dozens of freaking galaxies. Or maybe not dozens, but enough galaxies that it would be a pretty prohibitive distance to deal with, you know? And they find a planet that was inhabited by people, and it has like storefronts and signs that are spelled phonetically. And it turned out that like there was a time travel where people somehow got pulled back in time 2,000 years. So now not only are they stranded millions of years away from home, but they're also 2,000 years in the past. So the best they could do is start a civilization. And they do. They start a civilization on the planet. They name it Novus, and things get pretty interesting. And I'm not going to ruin much else about that, but there's a lot going on. Yeah, they do need to finish the Stargate Universe series, David Glenn, and I'm going to read that in a minute, Chad. As I might have misread your message, but I'm going to read that, and it looks like there's some interesting back and forth here. So, yeah, I used to hate Stargate Universe, and then I gave it a chance one year. I think it was during my low point year, but either way, I gave it a chance and enjoyed it tremendously. And I watched it again. I still enjoyed it tremendously. So at that point, I watched it like once when I was, you know, before I started my new job. Then after I started my new job, I watched it again. And both times I was like, this is good. And like, I can see why people had trouble with it, but it's like, you know, sometimes you just gotta like think like, they're doing it differently. Like, and although I didn't like the people on Reddit, when I bitched about Stargate Universe, there were people on Reddit and they were like, oh man, they started shitting on SG-1. They started shitting on fucking Atlantis, like about the Wraith looking like a bunch of goths or rockers. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But, you know, damn. But then again, I came in there guns blazing, hating on Stargate Universe, you know, because I just didn't get it at the time. Like, it's like first episode seemed cool. Then after that, it slowed down. But it was not really slowing down. It's just not yet. You have a ship with a bunch of whiny scientists on it. And that could be hard to follow, you know? Like, the interpersonal relationships. Like, Yeah, if you like Gilmore Girls, watch Stargate Universe. If you like Stargate SG-1, you might have a hard time getting into it. But jokes aside, once you I think, set your expectations better, or once you calibrate your expectations, it's quite watchable. And I mean, you get to see Jack O'Neill, but they use these Asgard. I think they were ancient stones. They're not Asgard, but they got these ancient stones, communication stones. And essentially, I hold one in my hand, you hold one in your hand. And no matter how far away we both are, we can communicate over vast distances using these communication stones. So I do really like that idea a lot. And the way they utilized it and the way it worked. And there's even an episode where somebody gets murdered while doing the body swap routine. But yeah, these communication stones, they work by letting two people swap bodies. And so the idea is that you would swap bodies, you would get briefed, or you would brief the Pentagon, or they would debrief you, on the mission. Then you'd get swapped back into your body. And so the original person would be back on the ship, millions of light years away, or whatever it is. And, yeah, so let's see what we got here. So real quick, something about a prairie dog. So what the hell was that about? Let's see here. I found something to lighten the heart. A channel called Poppy the Prairie Dog. Poppy is a pet and is very cute. Aw. You can drop a link if you want. And that was supposed to be Linguini. I totally muffed that. Okay, good. I was going to say, I'm reading that verbatim. I'm reading Linguini. I'm like, what the fuck does this say? That makes more sense. Yeah, just popped up. I used to get some with goats jumping around. Also, cute as to possibly cause so cute and sweet as to possibly cause diabetes. Can't spell it, dang it. I couldn't get into that, but I could try again. I like the other Stargates. Oh, I like all Stargates. Actually, we're talking about physical Stargates. The Stargate Universe Stargates are the worst. They're like beta version 1.x. And they have a very short range, and I mean, that's because the ship has to be able to build them without using Naquita. There's actually a lot of interesting things going on. I mean, if you want, I'll spoil it. I'll do a spoiler stream one day. And a lot of times the spoilers are what got me into things, including Stargate Universe. The spoilers got me into it. Yeah, so this is very, very challenging. I wish I had a toothpick right now. So, I do see a mention of Battlestar Galactica in the chat. I am not ignoring that. I will touch on that in a moment, because who doesn't love Battlestar Galactica? I mean, sometimes Battlestar Galactica can be a little too dark for my taste. And my coffee's not... Okay, what the... Okay, we're going to try to preheat the coffee again. I want my espresso, damn it. Hope I'm not still shadow banned from Snow Dub channel. But yeah, Battlestar Galactica was pretty interesting. It's another one of those shows where the finale absolutely confused me. I didn't watch Caprica. I'm interested in that. I did love the original Battlestar Galactica as well. But let's see. Yeah, so the communication stones definitely seem to employ something akin to quantum entanglement. Or superposition. Does anyone still remember Battlestar Galactica? Chad, which one? We talking about, the 1978 series, which I truly enjoyed. I love the whole Egyptian motif, when they went on that planet with Gaius Baltar, and they're, looking at some Egyptian ruins on some other planet. It sort of drives the point home that, yeah, even though they're filming it in Egypt, the idea that, this could exist on some far-off planet, I found to be really compelling. But if we're talking about new Battlestar Galactica, I enjoyed it tremendously, and it was very well done, and, they didn't, they were able to do a gender swap without ruining it. I mean, especially when you saw Starbuck, I remember a friend of mine described it like this. You see Starbuck, she's sitting there playing cards. She's acting like the OG Starbuck in that way, right? Now, I kind of wish we kept Boomer as a black guy, but then again, maybe that's just because I'm used to him that way, And same thing what's his name? The captain, the first officer. He was interesting. I mean, Mr. One-Eyed Wonder. Okay, One-Eyed Wonder, that's terrible. But you know what I mean? That guy was interesting. He had all these human failings. He was a drunk, and, he's sort of pushed into this position. He's supposed to be on the verge of retirement. He's supposed to be like captain of a ship that's like a museum. And then, you know, obviously their ship is the only ship that works. So they become like, they become what's left of the colonial fleet. Until they meet Battlestar Pegasus. And boy, Battlestar Pegasus. What a hot mess that ship was, huh? Holy shit, man. That was a situation. The worst Stargate episode is still better than Star Trek Voyager. Yeah, you know, I mean, I've had some good Voyager episodes, but in general, like, Clopper and Times and Raquel, they're watching Star Trek right now, Voyager, and I'm skipping it. Like, I watched a few episodes just to kind of be in with them, but then I was like, yeah, this is like, you know, not, you know, really, like, when they watch Enterprise, I'll be all over Enterprise, you know? And even though Enterprise has committed its own fair share of sins, I'm more than happy to forgive Enterprise over it, basically. I just, you know, especially when you take it in context compared to what we have to deal with now, I'm okay with this, you know? And you're right, the ending of Battlestar, that was kind of weird, right? You know, I mean, this, like, mitochondrial DNA bullshit. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, you know, it's like, maybe I'm just not that smart. Maybe, you know, maybe I need to, like, read books or something, but it just didn't enthuse me that much, you know? And it's like they're walking around a subway station in New York, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I mean, okay, it's coming full circle, but Jesus. The one with the Quantum Leap guy wasn't bad. Yeah, he was an interesting Cylon. And yes, Voyager did turn the Borg into wussies. They really did. Like, I mean, look, yes, we can use technology to, like, dispatch the Borg. I'm okay with this. But there comes a point where, like, it's, yeah, a little ridiculous. You know, it's like you really neutered the fucking Borg. Okay, so I should explain what I'm doing here. So I put some paint over here, and I'm hoping to use like a fresh Q-tip to try to do some detailing. Although I don't think this is gonna work the way I want it to work. It kind of works actually. I would love nothing more than to just take the marker and like go in with it, right? Like just go in with it, like boom. But realistically, it's not, you know, it's not a fine-tipped marker, right? It's not a fine-tipped implement. It was basically like Hindu or something, except not individual reincarnation, but the entire species. Yeah, so, you know, I don't know shit about the Hindu religion, but, and I don't know anything about the Eternals, but I do know that they had a resurrection ship. And at one point, you just knew they resurrected, and then, like, there was an episode, I remember, like, when I was, like I took a break from the show, and I come back to it, and they're, like, they're hatching a plan to attack the resurrection ship. And yeah, you know, and like they would talk about how like every time a Cylon dies, it's traumatic, and then they had like even like the Raiders had like a biological fleshiness inside of them. That was like a little weird, but okay, you know, it's they don't get piloted. The ship is a pilot, right? The pilot is the ship. And in a way, in terms of battle data, I mean, having like a living ship that you can resurrect with its battle combat data, I think as a Gundam fan, that's something I can relate to, because they always put emphasis in, or they, at various points in the Gundam franchise, they talk about, you know, oh, collecting data. Oh, don't forget to bring your data. There was a scene in Gundam 0083 where Ko Yuraki doesn't put the data disk inside of his Gundam, and he goes out on a cruise without the data disk. And boy, that did not end well. Like, his girlfriend was even like, don't forget the disc. And as he's like going to the cockpit being a little whiny bitch, he drops the disc. Now then again, his girlfriend was, oh my god, don't even get me started. Like, people hate Nina Purpleton, she's beautiful. But I mean, oh, don't even get me started on Nina Purpleton. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, give me a 1. And I'm going to read that chat in a second, because I see some interesting words in there. But as you can imagine, this requires my eyesight. I should probably have stripped the existing paint, but I'm trying not to strip it all and redo it, because that can get really tedious. I've learned not to be a perfectionist. It's really important. Sometimes, like, maybe it gives you a more rustic look, but also if you get OCD, you keep redoing the same part over and over again. I want to give a shout out to Pop Culture Mechanic. I got great news for you, Pop Culture Mechanic. You are drafted to be on the Monday show this week. I don't give a shit if you got work on Tuesday. You're coming. Nah, I'm kidding. Jokes aside. You're welcome. I think you're welcome on a future show. If you ever want to be on, let me know. I'll coordinate. I'll message you, find out if you're even available on Monday night. I'm gonna have Raquel SSG on, like, I think the 4th of January. But jokes aside, on it. Great news about Pop Culture Mechanic. I'm off from work this Sunday, which means I get to enjoy his Sunday show if I get up in time. Which, okay, that might not happen. But I will definitely watch it on the replay, because he's going to be talking food. And we want to talk about food on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And, you know, every Sunday, I think at like 11 a.m., because that's usually around the time I'm still taking my break time nap at work. That's when his show goes live. I believe 11 a.m. Eastern time. And, you know, Pop Culture Mechanic, my Stream Element spot doesn't work. And I actually tried to use it correctly today. And apparently I did something correct. So I can't type in exclamation point. Wait, maybe there's a way. Let me try something here. I'm pretty sure I can't type exclamation point pop, because I tried it before and it did not work. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I got to figure that out, because I would love nothing more than to have that working. In addition to that, I would love nothing more than to even have that automated, so that we can just let it automatically name channels, you know, in a loop. And, you know, I do want to acknowledge that we got a lot of friends in the chat today acknowledging friends. And I love that cowboy hat. What's his name? Shellback uses the cowboy hat sometimes. You think I can get Rudolph on the show? That would be cool. I'll have to ask Shellback if his roommate would ever want to be on. That's 9 a.m. Mountain Time, which is the incorrect time zone, as everyone knows, because only the East Coast matters. Okay, jokes aside. Mountain Time. So that would be, that's not the same as Central Time. I think Central Time was when I went to Austin, Texas. So I think it's a 2-hour difference. So that would actually be, yeah, 11 a.m. my time. Okay, yeah, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. New York. Wait, did it work? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean it looks like it works? You could see something? I just typed in the word exclamation point pop. Did it put a link on? I don't see a link on my end. Did it work? I don't see any evidence of it working, but I'm very curious. I just typed in your name, exclamation point pop. Wait, it did. Wow, that's weird. That's even, the plot thickens. David Glenn's like, it didn't work on my end. All I did was type in your name, exclamation point Oh, why can't I see it? I mean, I'm gonna pull up my own video on my phone real quick because this is valuable diagnostic data. See, me and Chad Middleton are on the same page at the moment, which makes Chad Middleton my new best friend. Nah, jokes aside, you know, you're all my best friend. You're all my best streaming friends. Yeah, it don't work on my end. Oh, okay. Thank you. That's a good idea. I'll try what you said. Ah. Yeah. So that's what I did on my phone. I went here and I clicked on, it said top messages. So I told it, no, show all messages. So, okay. I need to, there's probably a more permanent default setting for that. So I'll investigate that. But at least we know that that's like one less rabbit hole I got to dive into right now. It's still like, there's something I got to do like in my settings. So I'm going to go investigate my stream settings real quick because like we got like some settings up here. So those are the comments. All right, I'll have to investigate that further, but maybe there's like an exclusion or something I got to put in for the stream elements. But, and thank you. Thank you, James, for subscribing to my friends. Or to me. Perhaps James subscribed to me. Maybe James was not subscribed to me this whole time. Oh, this special make is going to work. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna have a fresh ristretto any second now. I can't wait. Oh, I can smell it. Oh, I can smell that coffee smell. That's pretty loud, ain't it? No doubt. Good luck scrounging, James. Thanks for dropping by. And if I don't see you before Christmas Eve, have a Merry Christmas. And although, as Punkwaddle says, it is Christmas Eve. Well, let's do that. Let's use the robot here. Let's see if that works. I don't even know if I have a stream elements bot command for Punkwaddle. I just assumed I do because why would I not have a command for Punkwaddle? Like, why would I not have that? Oh, I don't have that. What? How is Punkwaddle not in my command? Okay, we're going to add him right now. We have to add Punkwaddle right now. This is non-negotiable. Okay, so if nobody's ever met Punkwaddle, you're missing out. So we're going to hook you up right now by getting a Punkwaddle link up on this here. Because I would like everybody here, if you're not subscribed to Punkwaddle, please consider subscribing to Punkwaddle. And if you consider yes, then do it like right now or at your next convenience. So there we go. I just put it in the chat bot. So let's test it out right now. I think anybody could type in a command here, but I'm going to try it out. It was very nice meeting you or hanging out with you, Mr. Chad Middleton. Hope to see you again. Hope you're subscribed. But yeah, I don't know if I met you before. But if I haven't, it's nice to meet you. And if I have met you before, I apologize if I forgot that I've met you before. That happens sometimes to, you know, the best of us. But it was a real fun time interacting with you. And this is why I do YouTube, to meet, well, not just to meet people like you. Actually, I do YouTube to meet girls. Just seems that I meet a lot more guys. All right, so this is a Nestle Nespresso thing, right? I used, they're like K-Cups, but smaller. They're called capsules. But they're not like Apollo 13 capsules. They're certainly not like Apollo 1 capsules, you know? Like, Apollo 1 capsules are full of oxygen and, you know, we're not going to talk about that right now. But if you ever watched the show Space Above and Beyond, there is an episode where these scientists get Apollo 1'd. And it's like a messed up way to put it, but it's true. They were in an oxygen-rich environment and things went south. Wow. Ooh. It's very hot, and that's good. It's the best coffee when you got that hot aromatic flavor to it, right? And it's got that smell. It's got that frothiness to it. In fact, I have a milk frother, so I can next learn how to make a cappuccino. You know, I have like this thing that mixes the milk and makes it bubbly or whatever. So we're gonna try that at some point, but I'm not ready for that yet. I bought two. I used one as a paint mixer. So what we're looking at is Slots All, Gamble All, Raid. Oh, it's Slim Nim. Did I say hi, Slim Nim? Hello, Slim Nim. We're gonna get to you in a second. Those are like Red Viking channels for his chat bot. Interesting. I'm not sure how that works, but I definitely would try that out. Let me see if we have Slim here. I think I put Slim as Slim. Maybe not. Okay, so it looks like we gotta add another friend to the bot here. We might as well do this while we're realizing who I didn't add yet. So Slim Nim, his name comes from an interesting origin. He used to be a network administrator, and what happened was he was pretty slim, you know, he could never put on weight. So as a network administrator, people started calling him the Slim Nim. And so whenever you get that error message in Windows 98 that says contact your system administrator, on all of the networks that he owns and operates, that message actually says, please contact your your network Slim Nim administrator. But you know, that's free expression right there, so I respect it, even though it made it very confusing to work in tech support when I would get calls from that company. They'd be like, they're telling me to call the Slim administrator, and I spent like 3 minutes trying to pronounce the word with the fucking customer before we'd get to the point. So, yeah, didn't appreciate that, Slim, but I forgive you. Did it work now? Did I do it wrong? Well, whatever. Maybe it takes time for the settings to take effect. But he's been playing this game called Katamari Damacy. And it's got this really catchy song. It's the most absurd game. It's not really the most absurd game. I just want to hear the song. Whatever, I'll look it up later. But yeah, basically you roll around a ball, and this every time something touches this ball of junk and garbage. Woo, far out, man. Glow Stick Nation. Boom, 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 doom, 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 doom. Ooh, I'm gonna have to record that. Doom, 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 doom. Okay, sorry. Can't help it, man. Yeah, Katamari Damacy. That's correctly spelled. And yeah, like it's got a catchy song, and it's like, so in fact, well, Slim Nim was playing it recently, so he showed us how the game works, and okay, that's him after he won.
These are going to.
I just want to. There we go. So he's rolling this ball around, and inside that ball, inside that mass of donuts, is something called a Katamari. And as things touch it, it adheres to more things, and as more things adhere to it, it can get ever larger items. So right now it can't collect those people, but now he just leveled up. Now he can pick larger things up, including those people, I bet. Nope, not yet. But when he gets to the next size level up, he'll be able to collect people. And eventually you start collecting entire islands. You start collecting the world. You start collecting everything. Skyscrapers. You know? So that's what we're looking at there. That's Katamari Damacy. So, you know. So I give any love to the Victory Gundam, it's going to be late on tonight. Because I think there's going to... Right now what we're doing is I'm doing a little cleanup to my gun tank, as you guys see. But this here, we're not doing any painting to this Gundam. Because this Gundam here has to be able to transform into this. And I really shouldn't be doing it. If the new guy was here still, I would do it. But he's not here, so I don't have to do it. But if anyone really wants to see me transform this core fighter into part of a Gundam, let me know. I might do it, but only if someone really wants to see it. You know what I mean? Like, if someone really wants to see it, I'll go through the trouble. I would say it's no trouble at all, but it is trouble. Now, jokes aside, though, I'd be happy to show you if anybody's never seen it before. But this does turn into part of a Gundam. You can sort of see the way that this is put together. There's actually a customization guide where they disable the transformation so that it looks nicer when it's built up. But that's because they consider it a gimmick. And it is a gimmick, but it's a cool gimmick. I mean, the core fighter and the Gundam are interchangeable, right? I mean, that is the point. Oh, and if anybody has a good MPEG-1 video encoder, let me know. I was running into trouble with this here. I was able to get some MPEG videos on here, but I need to like a better video encoder. My wallpaper, so the background, see this background behind me? See this? That pagoda? Look, that's the wallpaper on my pocket PC right now. See, you got the pagoda, the background. Yeah, dead serious pop culture mechanic. I'm dead serious. I need an MPEG-1 encoder, and it's because this device doesn't support Windows Media Video format. So we got an app called Pocket TV. And Pocket TV is an MPEG player. And so you open up movies, right? You got to browse your device and find the movies. And the easiest way for me to do that is usually to open up a file manager. And what's interesting is that there's not a lot of apps that are maintained for this anymore, but Total Commander, who makes a very good Android file manager, they actually keep a version of their amazing file manager available for Windows CE 2.11. Oh yeah, so here's the problem I was running into recently. It stopped like talking to my compact flash card, so I probably can't demonstrate, but bottom line is that the video player I have for this device will only play video CD and MPEG-1 format video. And as a result of that, I have to re-encode, and I have a workflow that can do it, but it's not as straightforward as I'd like it to be. So essentially, I have to like convert a video from like one format to like, say, MPEG-4 X264. Then I open it up in AVS video converter, and that will give me a MPEG-1. Problem is that I cannot control the frame rate. I can't bring it lower. Wow, my phone, my Google voice speaker just made a bunch of echoes. So long story short, I just gotta make a phone call real quick. Long story short, I have to use AVS video converter to create the MPEG file. And the device will only play it at 10 frames, 5 frames per second at the best. And so my solution was to like find a way to bring it down to 10 megabytes, 10 frames per second. Oh yeah, see, TMPEG, yeah, that would actually be a viable option there, Pop Culture Mechanic. So what you see here is to MPEG. The problem is that even if I go into Handbrake or Hybrid or another video encoder and I spit out an MPEG-4 file that is, say, 5 frames, 10 frames per second, when I take that 10 frame per second MPEG-4 file and I supply it to this converter here, it won't let me go lower than 23.9 frames per second. It just won't. So my two options are to find a way to create a manual MPEG, FFmpeg command. Like FFmpeg is a modern video encoder. But it has a lot of old features. So there may be a way to structure a command that will give me the resolution, which has to be 240 wide. So 240 by 320 or 320 by 240. It's got to be some combination, or 240 by 140 in this case, you know. But I have to do that through FFmpeg, through the command line, or I can get an old version of Adobe Premiere. And an old version of Adobe Premiere will allow us to do this. An old version of Adobe Premiere will allow me to get 10 frames a second. The new version of Adobe Premiere does not support it. They deprecated. They got rid of that support, and I understand why. Like, I get it, you know. But even me, maybe if I should go looking on Google for a TMPEG encoder, you know, and maybe you know, like, if it's like cheap, I'd buy it, you know. Or I did go to a torrent website for it, and it was like, you know, like a dead torrent, and I don't even know if this is the right program here. That's another thing. I was coming across a lot of programs where they'll sell you like a bundle with stuff that I don't need, or they'll charge way more for like something really basic, you know, something that I don't, you know, like, I don't need anything complex. I don't really need the editing program. I just need the encoder. But if it just so happens that the encoding program allows me to do these things, I mean, you know, okay, you know, I'll use a more featured program. So, you know, I'm going to investigate the freebie here, which is probably not a real freebie. It's probably more like a, I got to make a phone call. I'm sorry. This Google speaker's echoing on me, and it's like, I can't hear jack shit, so I'm going to figure this out. Give me a moment. Oh, did I just fart on stream? I was supposed to be on mute. Yo, this espresso is so good. I just want to make another one. But I shouldn't. I think I'm going to make another espresso after dinner. Yeah, so basically, you're right. FFmpeg and derivatives. And, like, there's a lot of things built on top of FFmpeg. There's a lot of things that rely on FFmpeg. Usually what happens is you go on Google and you look up, like, how do I do this thing that other people know how to do already? And then you'll get, like, instructions, right? But I'm going to end the stream in about 10, 12 minutes, just a heads up, for dinner. And then I'll come back later if, you know, if I'm not totally, you know, plastered. Celebrating Christmas Eve. Now, jokes aside, never said would... Okay, let me read that. It's a mouthful there. Oh, you're a mod, so I know you. Never said it would be easy, just worth it entertainment. A mouthful. So you got avenged. So I know you somehow. And Merry Christmas, by the way. Thank you. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer used to laugh and call him names. I do have a copy of DVD Fab. Sort of. Because what happened was my backyard computer had DVD Fab on it. But before putting my, you know, my desktop, my second desktop, my Windows 8 desktop in the backyard, I backed up the boot drive, the boot SSD. I took the 4 RAID 10 hard drives out of it just because I didn't want to risk, you know, leaving hard drives outside. And then, you know, what you see is what we have right now. And bottom line is that I don't have DVD Fab on this Windows installation. It's in a backup file, so I have to take the Acronis True Image backup file, a backup image, and maybe restore it to a virtual machine. But at that point, it would just be easier for me to install another copy of DVD Fab. So whatever installation file I used, I would have to use that again. That would be an option too. Now, if the weather was clear, we could point the telescope at the sky, but it's not clear, so we're just going to leave the telescope alone. I usually leave the camera app open so that I can control the temperature on the sensor in case I want to make some adjustments. We are going to park the motorized focuser, however, so it's at 11,400. We're going to bring that to a 0. But DVD Fab may not do what I need it to do, but you know what? I should take a chance. And I was just checking out, never said it would be easy, just worth the entertainment. It's always hard to mentally keep track of channel names sometimes, you know? Oh yeah, okay, good. It's my homeboy. All right, cool. You keep me on my toes. You keep me on my toes, friend. Action man. I appreciate it. Santa Claus will be here very soon. Yeah. Wait, I'm supposed to sing this melodically, aren't I? Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa Claus will be here soon. That's not part of the song. Do I believe? I believe that NORAD is keeping track of Santa. Oh, you rock. Thanks, Pop Culture Mechanic. I'll certainly try that out. And then I may do a stream later on saying if I was successful or not in that endeavor. Well, first I got to fix the memory card in this Pocket PC. So, okay, the Gundam model, I'm eating dinner very soon. So I'm going to set this aside, leave it in pieces, which are very easy to reassemble. Let's get a look at that Pocket PC real quick. First, I should probably disconnect from my backyard computer. Subscribe to Never Said It Would Be Easy. In fact, we're going to drop a link for the gentleman right here. So, subscribe to my friend here. And one day, I will add you to the Stream Elements bot. But I'm not about to type that long name into Stream Elements. Okay. Santa loves Donald Trump. I recommend saving installation files if you have to. Oh, I always save everything. Dude, I hoard everything. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? I'll prove it. I'll fucking prove it. I'll prove it. I'm a hoarder. You know how much of a hoarder I am? I'm such a hoarder that I have a fucking 37 gigs left on a 14.5 terabyte volume. 2 1 terabyte SSDs, which I should replace it for a single 4 terabyte SSD. And whoops, wrong monitor. Yeah. And if we do this command df-h, which is human readable, it indicates I have 41 terabytes, or about 40 terabytes of capacity, and I have 1.6 terabytes free on that volume right now. And let me see if we can open up the X Windows system right now. What the hell we do? Was that K4? Yeah, all right. And then I can open up a windowed application from my server and access my server remotely. So right now, this program is going to scan and give us a visual representation of the data stored on that server. SourceForge and Major Geeks are definitely on the top of the list. So I'll give those both a chance, James, because I concur. I think those are not bad options. I think I went to like one of these forums that did not have it. It was what do you call it? Like a dead link. But I should definitely check both those places. So like I said, like there's usually directions for doing everything with FFmpeg as long as other people are doing it. The problem is that, you know, if something is obscure enough and there's no other people doing it, you're not going to find a modern write-up. The good news is, just because it's a feature nobody uses, it might very well still exist inside the binary for FFmpeg. And what that means is we can actually still leverage it. We can still use it. We just got to use older directions to kind of guide us through that, right? Women love my hard drive. Oh, yeah? I'm going to show you my hard drive right now. It's a real crusty hard drive. You want to see a big crusty hard drive? It's a Western Digital. It's a Western Digital 40 megabyte. And it's made in Singapore, which actually Singapore is a rich country. I would say they should call themselves Singa-rich. And it doesn't always spin up when I plug it into modern things. I think it just doesn't draw the expected amount of power. I think I have a backup. I should definitely back this drive up because it's probably on its last leg. Back in the day, they would sometimes attach a printout showing a list of bad sectors. Like I have a 40 meg hard drive that takes up the entire 5 1/4 bay. It's actually a 10-inch. It's like a double thickness 5 1/4-inch hard drive. And this is only this is technically a 3.5-inch hard drive. So a modern 3.5-inch hard drive is only as thick as the top half of this. This one here is twice as thick because the motor takes up a large amount of space. You can see that's the motor right there. See this knob here? What does this knob do? This knob is absolutely frightening. You know what this fucking knob does? This is attached to the stepper motor that moves the read-write head. Like you turn this knob, you're moving the read-write head across the platter. So if this drive doesn't work, that's why. Because somebody like me when I was 12 years old definitely turned this thing. Women love my hard drive. Well, you're only showing your floppy drive right now. By the way, never said it would be easy, just worth the entertainment. That emoji is showing a floppy drive. Now, women might love your hard drive, but if you're only presenting the floppy drive, you gotta get that fluffed up. You need a fluffer. Yeah, I got options. Sometimes I can run old software Pop Culture Mechanic on Windows 10, but if not, I have two things going for me. If I have to spin up a Windows XP VM, I will. But I actually have a working Windows 98 VM right now, and I use the Windows 98 VM to back up N64 memory cards and to do active sync, to synchronize that Pocket PC I showed you earlier. The only thing is that Pocket PC, I don't need to like use active sync anymore because instead I put the memory card into my memory card reader and I just directly access it, add data to it, and I load it. So that's sort of like what we're doing. This card stopped working for some reason on the device. Actually, the device stopped recognizing it, so I have to do a little experimentation there, like after dinner. Got a lot of things to do, but I'm off until Tuesday. So, only regret I have is not taking Tuesday off from work. I don't know why I didn't just take the entire, holiday break. I mean, like I was a kid in school. Oh, great. I have a bent pin in my compact flash slot. They make certain things are made like crap. I have memory card readers that are built to last, like the one inside the pocket computer. And then we have the one I just showed you, and that one was not built to last. Remind me that my Ethernet crimper is inside my bottom left drawer, if I ask. Oh, and my VCR died, so now I have one VCR behind me and one VCR here. And I basically need to get some lithium grease to lubricate this one. And I'll be able to use this to resume my VHS backups. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, gentlemen. And if there's any ladies here, we need to get more ladies in the chat here. So I was thinking, should I update my online dating profile to have this? Hey Google, broadcast acknowledged. So I was thinking about doing it. I was thinking about like putting my own YouTube videos on POF or doing a video on POF where it's like me just saying like some crazy shit like my turtle was coming first. You know when you got like a girl on POF on a dating site and they're like, my kids come first. Well, I kind of want to do that, but with my turtles, which is like a great way to filter out like pretty much everyone. But if there's like one girl who actually likes turtles, maybe they'll go for it. I don't know. But jokes aside, yeah, I got some crazy ideas. So let's read this back here before I gotta go right now. So I don't have to go right now, but before I go, we're gonna read the chat. Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, like, I'm hoping that I don't have to run it on the Windows XP VM, but if I do, I do, and we have options covered. And yeah, so, okay, Pop Culture Mechanic, I do remember zip drives. I have a zip disk somewhere here. I have a Bernoulli disk somewhere here, I think, too. Where the hell is my Bernoulli disk? The Bernoulli disk is freaking cool, too. Like, that one looks cool. A Bernoulli disk is like, it looks like a giant floppy disk. See? Like that's a like look how like that's a hand. That's a Bernoulli disc. Look at that metal slider on that shit. But yeah, so okay, I have a zip drive laying around, external zip drive, but I want to find my internal zip drive because I want to put an internal zip drive inside of this computer. I think I want to put an internal zip drive in this computer, but I might just get the parallel port adapter and hook it up externally. Because I want to take the data off my zip disks and dump all of my zip disks onto my server. Now, the zip drive I have is the Zip 100, which is possibly more reliable, but they did make a 250 megabyte version. There's a Zip 100 and a Zip 200 or 250. And sometimes there was some backwards compatibility issues. But yeah, we had zip drives and I have Jazz drives. And so I actually have a SCSI card and a Jazz drive laying around. I'm tempted to install in this computer. But if I know what's good for me, I'll install it in a dedicated media box. So another idea I had was to like take one of my old desktops and put every drive under the sun in it. You know, so I have a zip drive, a Jazz drive, a 5 1/4 inch, a 3 1/2 inch. Right now, that machine only has the 3.5 and the 5 1/4. I took the zip drive out and misplaced it, so that might take some doing. But real quick, let's get running right down the chat here. I know a guy with VCRs, he'd probably sell one to you. Thanks for the heads up, James. I'll let you know if I need one. I'm going to do some testing and cleanup and lubrication, and we'll find out how desperate I am. What I really need is a time-based corrector. A VCR with a built-in time-based corrector. That might be interesting to me. How many megabytes is Donald Trump? Oh, he's the most. He's the most megabytes. He's got more megabytes than everybody. I'm trying to do the Donald Trump. I have more megabytes than everybody. I have more megabytes than you. It's very nasty. No, I don't know. We can do a collaboration anytime. No, jokes aside, I mean, I don't know what type of collaboration you want to do. I was thinking about that too. Like, you know, I try to watch, you know, the way that you do your things and see like what is compatible with your style. Like, I don't know if you'd be interested in coming on a stream, or if you'd be interested in maybe finding out if any of your friends like Action Man or even Little Action Man would be interested in coming on. You know, but like I'm down for all manner of things. Or if you want to do like a pre-edited like thing, like a gaming thing or something, like I'm down. I'll brainstorm it. I'll come to your chat, or you come here, brainstorm. We probably should exchange communications info at some point. I mean, like if like that time I was shadow banned on your channel last week, I had no way, like other than logging into another YouTube account to be like, yo, what's good? But that's not that important. But it's probably a good thing to have set up. But yeah, if you say Action Man, definitely that's awesome. Because you know I love Action Man. Like, I love the character. I love the persona. I love the things Action Man says and does. Like, you guys want to see a funny video before I sign off? I mean, I'm not going to play it right now. I want to watch it right now. If you guys want to come back when I do another stream and watch me do this one. Oh, but I do have something special to show you guys today. I really should have done this before. I discovered this girl who does Gundam covers on an oboe. See? She's dead serious. She's doing Gundam song covers on an oboe. This girl is elite. But not only does she do Gundam song covers on an oboe, she builds the frickin' models. Like, look, she got the nuclear Gundam. She got Gundam Prototype 02 right there. This girl is gangster. I can't read any of the comments on this channel, but she hits the little heart button. If you leave a comment on her channel, she'll give you the heart button every time. And she even does the song from SDF Macross. She does a lot of anime covers. So I'm going to leave that in the chat, because I love her work. Secondly, Action Man Gaming. That's the one I actually meant to go pull up. So Action Man Gaming plays God of War. And he says, oh, I was just drunk when I did that. So, but nah, I think he did it like in sound mind. I don't know if I'm spelling Action Man Gaming right. Oh. Maybe I can Google it. All right. My favorite video might take some... Yeah, so they call it an oboe. Now, I don't know if an oboe is maybe a type of clarinet. Oh, and the girl who does the voice of Lin Minmay is literally streaming live right now. Her name is Mari Ajima. If you want to become a member of her channel, it's like super expensive. It's like you can pay like, I think, what is it, like $10, $25, $50, and $100. Actually, it's not that expensive if you know, really like the work they do. But yeah, my luck, I can't find it all of a sudden. I don't know how I can't. Maybe I'm spelling Action Man wrong. Maybe I got the wrong channel. Maybe you changed the channel name on Action Man. I don't know, but all right. Well, I'm gonna find that video some other time, and if you guys are ever congregated here at the same time again, I'm gonna show you guys an amazing video.
You gotta hope it has some more legs.
And these guys are nice too. I'm gonna leave a link here if you like these guys. This is Valiant Renegade, and I think Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark is a very nice guy. So you know, that's why I'll leave a link there. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, they are reeded instruments, but not the same. Yep. I watched a video on how to get a good embouchure. Embouchure. It has a different mouthpiece and some of the details. No dark mode? For shame. What dark mode? On my screen? We talking about Google Chrome? I don't know. But I got to get myself off this stream anyway. So there's a lot of things that we could go and, you know, get into the weeds on. But I'll get myself not in trouble, but, you know, gotta eat dinner, you know? So I really want to thank everybody. Oh, yeah, so that's an interesting one. Yeah, I got dark mode when I'm in the control panel, but I don't know if there's a dark mode available on, you know, YouTube, you know, on the consumer side of YouTube anymore. If there's a button I can click in the corner that says dark mode, like where it's got, oh, here we are.
Oh, beyond nice. This weekend, though.
Thanks
I think Wonka has more leg capacity than Aquaman does.
For other purposes. And especially at nighttime when I don't want to go blind, you know? Like, you don't want that.
And again, it's that musical aspect.
I'm sorry for keeping that background noise on. But yeah, so there we have it. We got a dark mode enabled. So I thank you for that because at nighttime, I want to be able to look at my screen without having an atomic flash. So not the Act Man, no, Action Man. And don't worry, I'll show you sometime. Like, let's see, maybe it's already on his channel. Maybe I was just on the wrong channel. I really gotta go though. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. No, I'm kidding. Maybe this was the same channel all along. I'm gonna scroll through his old videos. We're gonna find it if it's here. Now I think it's not this channel. Yeah, okay, so I'm going through his live streams right now. We're gonna go to videos, not live streams. And if we go to videos and we go back in time enough. Yeah, I'm almost certain it's not this channel because he's got way more content on this channel. He played The Godfather during the summer, if you guys like The Godfather. He played Battletoads. But jokes aside, Action Man, I'll be in touch. Thanks for sharing the link out to my stream. And yeah, I'm going to get my butt on the road. So maybe we'll talk later, gentlemen and ladies. But if not, once again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, I shall end transmission. Thanks for hanging. God damn it. What do you mean I forgot to close the stream? Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. I didn't forget to close the stream. The system lied. Alright. Do I have to edit this one now? Anybody still watching right now? Oh boy. Oh. That sucks. Because now I have to edit the freaking thing, you know? And when you edit a stream like this, it makes a mess of things. It like causes the chat log to disappear. Punkwad was talking.
What? Something about a reaper?
All right, we're really going to end this stream right now. So I want to thank everybody to tune in. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. For anybody watching this very end at the, you know, on the replay, I don't know how you skip through 4 hours of content. But, you know, for anybody watching on the replay, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, such as not leaving the stream running for 3 hours, leave a comment. And for now, I will really end transmission, which I did already, but apparently not. So I'm going to